Over the course of time, Egypt has seen the recovery of numerous priceless artifacts. Numerous intact ancient Egyptian tombs were discovered, untouched for millennia, and still contained the valuable items that had been given to their kings so that their beloved pharaohs could use them to get to the afterlife. Many of the most remarkable relics are overlooked due to the mountains of gold and sparkling jewels that have captivated those who have investigated these ancient archives. At the foot of the Great Pyramid, the solar boat might be seen as a particularly good illustration of this mass, overlooking the most fascinating things. Once underneath a few multitone, exactly positioned blocks of limestone, lay the khufu transport, a regular old Egyptian vessel fixed into a pit a long time back. Why hasn't more been said about this amazing piece, which is widely believed to have been made for Khufu King Cheops, the second pharaoh of the Old Kingdom of Egypt's 4th dynasty? The Giza Solar Boat Museum, which was built on the site in 1985, now houses the ship. It is entirely committed to the boat's preservation and possesses cutting-edge preservation technologies. One of the largest, oldest, and best-preserved ancient vessels is the Khufu ship. It is 6 meters wide and 44 meters long. It is also known to be the world's oldest intact ship. Everyone who knows about it says that it is a masterpiece of woodworking and that it could sail today if put in water. However, the most astounding aspect of the solar ship is without a doubt this: it was never intended for the vessel to sail on water. The solar boat has been designed to fly, using the shell-first construction method and the unpaved tenants of Christ's Thor. It was largely constructed of Lebanon cedar planking. The boat was worked with a level base made out of a few boards, yet no genuine fall, with the boards and casings lashed along with how far grass the boat was found finished, yet in pieces across the layers floor, laid in a consistently dismantled request underneath the pyramid, consequently recreated from the 1,224 pieces, which were spread out altogether more than 45 years earlier. It required quite a while for the boat to be meticulously reassembled, essentially by the Egyptian branch of relics boss, reestablish Ahmed Yusuf Mustapha. He needed to acquire sufficient boat-building experience in ancient Egypt before he could reconstruct the boat. He looked at many of the tiny wooden models of ships and boats that were found in tombs and the reliefs that were carved on walls and tombs. Ahmed additionally visited the Nile boatyards of Old Cairo and Mahdi and went to Alexandria, where wooden stream boats were all the while being made. It is now thought to have been referred to as a solar barge, a vessel used in religious ceremonies to transport the king and the sun god across the heavens. Despite the ship's sole purpose being to float in the sky, it bears some indications of use, a fact that has baffled many researchers. It is possible that the vessel was either a funerary barge that was used to transport the king's embalmed body from Memphis to Giza, or that Khufu himself used it as a pilgrimage vessel to visit sacred sites, and that he buried it so that he could use it in the afterlife. However, such conclusions raise serious concerns. How, first and foremost, would the boat fly furthermore, in the event that the boat was to be expected to be utilized in Lord Khufu, the hereafter? For what reason was it resting in pieces underneath the pyramid? And for what reason did it show, or from us inside the ruler's life, did this boat some way or another once had the force of flight? Did old Egyptians? We have been covering a ton as of late concerning the undeniable proof left by the old Egyptians, uncovering their high-level capacity to cross the majority of the Earth preceding Columbus. Is the sun-powered boat a piece of this puzzle? Kamal el-Nok, who some way or another anticipated the presence of the boat, and has been credited with its disclosure in 1954. Through his broad individual examination of the area north of 14 years, at first tracked down another pit, likewise at the foot of the incomparable pyramid. Sadly, it appears that this layer was robbed shortly before he discovered it. Both archaeologists and Egyptologists refuted his claims that this empty cavern contained a ship of some kind. However, when the other pit, which did indeed contain a ship, was discovered, his earlier claim was proved correct. How did they all fail? Later on, He would say that he thinks something very special was taken from the first cover. Despite the fact that other caverns lost their contents, the solar boat is certainly an amazing object in and of itself. Could it have been the thing that made the ship work? Well, while looking through the many confusing websites that we haven't yet covered on our channel, we found something that might be a big clue. Our channel has long supported the hypothesis that a highly advanced global civilization once thrived on our planet due to the evidence left behind regarding the construction method of numerous ancient sites. We think that many of the ancient sites with strange architecture were left behind by people who lived a long time ago. Also, when one starts to examine these remnants, in light of this chance, you begin to see a few convincing things with respect to these astounding locales. For instance, the metal clamps we talked about earlier, which were frequently made of impressive alloy mixtures and somehow poured molten, could be considered earlier architectural examples than the mortar-less mysteriously notched stonework, also found in similar areas all over the world, with stonework that was more precise and, as a result, more impressive, considered a later, more advanced method of construction. In addition, despite the fact that virtually all ancient sites have been dated to the most plausible historical figures currently known, the genuine history of our planet, the ancient fortress of Saxe-Homen, is one of our personal favorites from ancient times. We think that the site was built a very, very long time ago. The fortress's maze of outer walls, constructed without mortar and containing some of the most astonishing ancient stonework we feel to be found anywhere on Earth, is one of the most impressive features of the site, and the reason why it is ranked as one of our favorites. However, it would still be a daunting proposition for any invading party. Albeit numerous different locales inside Peru, without a doubt, contain unbelievably exact stonework, Saxe-Homen is the gem in the crown with regards to the proof for a last high-level progress. The tallest stones in this boundary are 28 feet tall and weigh an average of more than 120 tons, according to academic estimates. It sits on a huge artificially leveled plateau on the outskirts of the ancient Inca capital of Cusco, with more optimistic estimates putting the largest stones between 300 and 400 tons. It has 3 enormous outer barriers that measure 1,500 feet in length and 54 feet in width. Shaped in a shrewd zigzag pattern, they encircle a paved area, an enigmatic circular structure. There is overwhelming evidence to suggest that 2 phases of construction were carried out at certain Peruvian sites, as was recently mentioned in another video. We believe that the majority of ancient Peru was built by the same people who built Saxe-Homen. This gathering were the ones who used the puzzling bulges even found upon the packaging stones on the incomparable pyramids. However, it is interesting to note that there was a second leader phase that is currently regarded as the actual builders, despite not being nearly as advanced as any academically studied ancestor. This indicates that ancient Peru was home to more than one civilization, with a subsequent group reoccupying the sites and flourishing to the point where they were clearly inspired by the site's original builders and became highly skilled stone builders of their own. How old is Saxe-Homen? Who might have built it? And why didn't they use the mysterious protrusions on a lot of their other stonework in Peru? It's one of the most amazing ancient sites that are still standing today. It will also continue to stand for many more years due to the incredible skills of its builders. We find this website to be extremely compelling because it is overflowing with inexplicable features. Quick-Quil-Co, a 4-step round pyramid that, like all ancient structures, has secrets to tell, like the Great Sphinx, can reveal to us all through overwhelmingly physical evidence a true understanding of its true antiquity. The academic world, with its abundant, funded, researched, and mass-published papers, supported by an institute of individuals who seek to destroy all things that disagree with them. These people would have you believe that Quick-Quil-Co was constructed at the earliest in 300 BCE. However, when nature, on the other hand, usually disagrees. Before Brian Cummings received permission from the Mexican government to begin an excavation at the site in 1922, Wilco was barely more than a small mound with some scraggly trees on it. Brian became increasingly interested in the site after learning that geologist Georgie had hidden data about the Padico lava flow at more than 7,000 years ago during the initial excavations. Brian noticed that the well-known Padico lava flow had partially engulfed this ancient structure. In addition, Brian's workers were able to successfully cut deep trenches into this ancient lava in order to locate the base of the pyramid. They not only went through the bottom of this layer, but they also went through a number of other areas of sediment before reaching the high-quality paving at the structure's original level. In point of fact, beneath the 7,000-year-old volcanic activity was over 18 feet of ancient sediment, including 2 additional lava flows that were separated by layers containing artifacts from at least 2 additional distinct habitations in the region that belonged to civilizations of varying levels of development. Likewise, proof of a past submersion in something like 6 feet of seawater, another old design loaning confidence to the extraordinary flood. The actual pyramid, when stunningly developed utilizing whole pieces of magma among the primary layer of disintegration and rot, resting simply over the first underpinnings of the construction. This evidence of our civilization once being destroyed is what appears to be the remains of a primitive civilization that moved into the area shortly after the apparent catastrophe. This initial primitive civilization is an extremely ancient lava flow, which is followed by a significantly far more advanced civilization. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a thing.